obviously rhythm shooting is important because when we're shooting and taking follow-on shots, we never want to be sporadic in that. I mean, that makes no sense anyway. Why would I shoot that way? Like just sporadic 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Like why would I do that, right? So it's natural to have a rhythm to your shooting. What that rhythm means to you is what we're about to find out, and where you're at in your cadence progression. Okay, so the way I explain cadence is from shot to shot, you have a specific time window, a consistent time window, right? You have this time window, and in that time window from bang to bang, and in between that time window, you got to do said number of things, right? For example, if I take a shot, what's the first thing that happens? Muzzle goes up, right? So now I have to reacquire my target, reacquire my sights. I have to prep my trigger, right? I have to align my sights maybe if it's not a red dot, right? So there's a lot of things that I have to do, and then I have to, as I'm reacquiring the target, now I have to focal shift back to my front sight post for the shot. So all these, you're multitasking, but you have a certain time window to do those things from bang to bang. That's all cadence shooting is. Shooting at a consistent rate. That's the task. The implied task is everything that goes in between those shots, right? And if we can do those things successfully, then the bang to bang is a success overall. In order to do the things, we have to come up with a system. And that system is not necessarily one that we choose. It's one that just comes natural to us. We already know what needs to happen, right? Settle my sights, reacquire my sight picture, reacquire my target, prep my trigger, and then take that next bang. Okay, what order you do that in doesn't really matter. There is a natural order of things. Obviously, you have to settle your sights first, right? And then reacquire your target, reacquire your sights, and prep your trigger. But all those things can happen simultaneously as long as you understand these are the things that need to happen. Otherwise, what you're doing is you're taking that first shot that's on target, and then if you're not doing those implied tasks, your next shot's going to be super high, or it's going to be low, or it's going to be somewhere that you didn't want it to be. Why? Because you didn't complete those tasks or implied tasks. I use the analogy with my kids. You know, I say I go into my 16-year-old's bedroom. I'm like, hey, clean your bedroom. Okay, well, to him, that means one thing. To me, I have a vision of what that means, right? He in his head is like, okay. So, and I tell him, I'm like, hey, you have 10 minutes to do this. So I go back 10 minutes later and everything is just half-assed, like, and some things aren't even done. Is that his fault? No, it's not, because he didn't know what the implied tasks were. The task was just to clean the room, right? So I need to teach him what those things are, just like I'm teaching you guys. The implied tasks are, again, settle your sights, reacquire your sight picture, reacquire your target, prep your trigger, take your next shot. For him, in his scenario, in his world, it was make your bed, pick up your dirty laundry, take out the dishes, take the dishes to the kitchen, and take out your trash. I don't know, clean up your desk or whatever, right? So I need to give him those so that he's set up for success, just like I'm trying to set you guys up for success. So I come back 10 minutes later, it's half-assed. The next day, I say, look, these are the things that need to get done when I mean clean your room. So he's like, oh, okay. I wasn't even thinking about that one thing or those two things. So then I come back 10 minutes later, and he does it, but it's still kind of half-assed. But at least he knew what to do. He just didn't do it properly, just like you guys. You guys know what to do. You just might not execute properly. But I come back day 3, same thing. 10 minutes, clean your room. Okay, cool. Now, in his head, in his little world, he's like, let me just come up with a system that makes sense. What's easiest to do? Let me knock those out, then I'll go to the hard thing. Or let me do the hard thing first, and let me go to the easier thing, right? He has a system. Same thing with you guys. You need to be able to complete those implied tasks in your own little system. That makes sense to you. Okay? For some of you guys, you got to prep that trigger more. For some of you guys, you got to reacquire your sights, depending on recoil management. Make sense? So when I come back like day 9, and he's been in his room waiting for me like for 3 minutes, he's done in 7 minutes. I'm like, okay, cool. That's the new standard, 7 minutes. All right? Now he has to get things done in 7 minutes, but he's tracking. He's like, well, I want to be done with this, so let me try to be the most efficient I can be at these things. So when I come back the next day, he's done in 5 minutes. Cool, that's the new standard. So for you guys in this world, your standard, your beginning standard may be let's get everything done in 1 second, right? Let's get those things done in 1 second. Or let's get those things done in 2 seconds from bang to bang. And then as you get comfortable with that, and you figure out your own system with the gun and your follow-on shots, then you start to, with that comfortability also comes confidence and experience, and now you know where you can start refining. So now you may go from a 2 second time window to a 1 second time window, from a 1 second time window to a half second to a quarter second.